when I looked up, the Chinese dragon represents wisdom and good faith and everything like that. I got two because I have two forms of a Chinese dragon in my life or in my life experiences, my grandmother and my mother.
Okay.
And I got them on my foot because my feet always lead me. So got both of my dragons tatted on my feet, and that's how we went from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey y'all.
Hey.
Welcome to DBYT Podcast. I'm Taisha, and today we have
Nia. Hey, y'all.
Hey Miss Parker.
Hey.
Okay, so y'all don't know what we're talking about today, and maybe I don't either. Because the spontaneity in all of this, the spontaneity. Look at my words; they're going everywhere. But we don't know where we're going because it's a very broad topic today.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
I am too. Even just our pre-conversation, it's like, yeah, this finna be something.
Yeah.
So, all right. So today we are talking about being programmed by the system.
Yes.
And as you guys know, like we just said in the introduction, we don't know where that's going to lead because it's so much programming that has been done in our society.
Hello. Talk on it. It's like a big spider web.
Because everything's connected. Literally.
It's all connected. And that's what can drive the human psyche a little crazy, because when you talking to a regular individual that is okay with ignorance being bliss. And don't get me wrong, if I didn't know some of the information, I too would be blissful. Like my mom always tells me, knowledge is like mass. It can be created, but it can't be destroyed. Mm-hmm. So it's just like once you know something, you can't unknow it.
Right.
No matter how much you want your brain to forget, you can't unknow some of the knowledge that you know. So it's just like once you know it, it's just like I advise anybody to be ready if they do go down a rabbit hole, because
you're going to find out what you going to
find
exactly what you're looking for.
Hello. You're going to find the answer that you're looking for, because it's all out there. Nothing is really hidden. Like it's all in plain sight.
Yeah.
Like when they say hidden in plain sight, they mean it. It's just because a lot of us that move around this earth don't understand that the English language is somewhat of as we all know, a cumulation of different languages.
Yes.
So it's just like when we search things or when we use search engines to look up certain information, are the people in control, the people that have the resources and the power to make things really change. They know that we don't know how to word it the way that the information is supposed to be worded,
or like decode it.
Yeah.
Because it's so strategically simple that we overthink it, and we're like, what does this mean? What did this mean?
Yeah.
They know exactly what it means, and they see us scrambling and everything. They're like,
yeah. That's the thing. They want us. They thrive on us not knowing.
Yes.
So it's just like, you could go look up, what is the Illuminati? It's going to show you what it is.
Yeah.
It might bring up all different types of correlations of different things that people have posted online or on the web. But if you look up certain things like the 12 bloodlines,
right,
and things like that, you're going to find what you're looking for, because the CIA got it all up there.
And it's the fact that a lot of these records are like public is scary because it's so public. And like we said, you're going to find exactly what you're looking for if you go searching. So y'all be careful on that and brace yourself.
No, for real, because when I tell people, like, a lot of people ask me, like, when were you first, like, knowing or, like, exposed to the whole, like, dark side of, like, Hollywood?
Sorry.
I tell people all the time, I grew up in L.A., so my family...
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I grew up in Los Angeles, South Central, and a lot of people that grow up or that has family that it was in L.A. around the changes. Like, my mom grew up watching Rodney King and all of that go down on television. She was, like, here when the whole crack epidemic happened in our communities in Los Angeles and in Watts and everything. She's seen the deterioration of how they ran out the Black Panthers. LAPD will drop off a rival gang member in a rival neighborhood and leave them for dead instead of taking them to the jailhouse. Like, she's seen corruptness happen in front of her face. So she's always been very educated as far as telling us, like, this is what it is. Like, we were little kids being talked about, like, they will take you and you will never see me ever again. Like, we would be going out like, bro, mom, like, we just want to go have fun with our friends. But she was making us aware of the world that we were stepping into every day. Like, it's people out here that will take you from me and you will never hear hear from me again. It's people out here that thrive off of fear. Don't fear nobody. Be a leader. Don't follow behind people. Like one thing that my mom always instilled in us, like, don't be a follower, because you never know who somebody following or what somebody praying to or this and that the third. Do your research for yourself.
So when I tell you, because a lot of people, especially like, I'm gonna take it as simple as dating.
Yeah.
He got to be God fearing. She got to be God fearing. Which God?
Yeah, because it's a whole different.
And
it's a whole bunch of them.
I say that because, like you said, it's a whole conglomerate of different ways to look at it or to interpret it. I've always had the understanding, or how I look at it was, there's one entity.
Yeah.
It's an energy source, and that even though there are different religions, those are man-made.
Right.
And I feel like you said earlier, there are similar messages, stories, lessons, and things of that nature that they've taken and applied to their personal belief system.
Right.
And basically called it something else. That's why we have thousands of religions. And a lot of people aren't even knowledgeable about that. They might think, oh, the big three, you know what I'm saying? And keep it like that. But little do they know, who are you praying to?
Yeah.
I need to know, because my God might not be your God, or we might follow these things in totally two different directions. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's number one.
Yeah.
People got to have deeper conversations.
That part.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah, people do. Get into it. Yeah, and I tell my friends all the time, uncomfortable conversations are my favorite, because that means you're talking about something that necessarily you hold dear to your heart.
Yes.
And you don't want it to be you don't want dirt thrown on the things that you hold dear to your heart, which is fine, but it's also,
you want to protect it.
It's about breaking your heart to open it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, sometimes you have to be able to look at different perspectives, and they might not always be in agreement with your initial perspective, which is fine. I like to hear different perspectives or combating perspectives, because what made your psyche get to that point? And
what was your process, right?
And that's why I respect different religions, because even though I may not understand completely why you follow what you follow, I still can respect it, because you got there on your own free will. Nobody just and that's the greatness about God, because the God that I serve gave us free will. So we can do the things that we feel like make us happy in our human flesh, which is cool. But we also, like you said, we all in our minds serve a higher purpose. Your God may not be my God, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, as long as you're not harming people or forcing people to believe in what you believe in, or shunning people for not believing what you believe in, then by all means do what you got to do.
Right.
But that's when it becomes an issue for me. When you feel like you have to force somebody to believe in what you believe in, or if they don't, then they wrong. Like,
and there's so many different. I always like to say, like, just because I believe in something doesn't make me right or you wrong, or however you look at it. But it's like, even going back to the initial, that entity is, that could be literally that everybody's praying to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Right.
But that's how I always looked at it, because I was like, wow, isn't it crazy how we call, for example, you might know me as Taisha, my brother called me TT.
Yeah.
I'm still the same person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how I always looked at it. And I'm like, how do y'all, we don't necessarily know, but we hope that it's the person, you know what I'm saying?
That we all talking about. That is exactly that. And dang, you just wrapped it up so perfectly, because that really is the facts. Like, somebody might know me as Nia Pia, and you know me as Nia, but I'm still the same person. Like, there's nothing else more to say, because that's literally how it is. Like, that's literally what religion is. Like, you may still be talking about TT, but I know her as Taisha, but we all talking about the same individual. But
just a different name.
Right, but it takes your own personal being on how open you are to really understand that. Because you may be too closed off to the idea of something else being similar. You're like, no, I'm telling you, TT is not Taisha. This whole time, TT is Taisha.
All the while you don't know my real government name.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We really don't know God's real name. Because that's what I was taught, that God was the name because I also think, I try to stop myself on labeling God as a gender that we know in the human flesh. Yes, because that's why I'm like, who said that God was he? First of all, God already made it clear that God is God. I am not, you are not me, and I am not you. So why would God be compared to man?
You know what's okay?
Because if it's a God in all of us, then wouldn't that mean that
Okay,
God
that's because that's the route I was finna take.
Somewhat female too, in a sense. So that's why, like, I tried not to genderize God because
Because
just
it's
like
the energy. It's a flow. It's not just like I know me personally. I like to say that I have more masculine traits or ways about myself.
Okay.
More masculine energies, I guess you could say. But I'm still female.
Right.
I still have female energy as well. But
Yeah.
knowing that I'm human, it
Yeah.
it changes depending on what's going on, who I'm with, things
Period.
of that nature. So that even that, I was like, yes, the entity, but also the energy, depending on how you want to look at it, because I am more of a spiritual person.
Yeah.
And I look at the world more so like energy because I know it's true. I can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the connection we had made the other day, I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know. It just, sometimes I don't know off bat about like why I feel a type of way, but I know like in my body, I can feel the energy. So I'm like, I feel good. Yeah. Like there is absolutely no way I would be like, if I didn't feel safe with you, I would have never, this would have never even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So in somewhere in my realm, I'm just like, I can trust her.
Yeah.
I can kick it with her. I can talk to her. She's going to understand. She's not, you didn't seem judgmental or nothing like that. So I was like, we can have a conversation, because some people are very stuck in their ways.
Yes.
And it's very hard to get them to see another side because they don't want to see anything else besides the things that they have been taught.
Right. And I was just talking about that the other day too, because everything that you're taught is just what your parents know.
Yeah.
And what your parents know isn't always fact. It's just what they know based off their own life experiences and an accumulation of what their parents know, because that's what they were taught by their parents. And it's just a domino effect in a chain. But it's not until, and that goes into programming too, because it's not until you decide for yourself that you're going to try to break away from that. And that could be scary. That's a very scary thing to jump off the porch. Like I'm not abandoning everything that you know, but you're going against what you were instilled to follow. Because breaking that mold is easier said than it is done.
Yeah.
Because it's like a school of fish. When a whole school of fish is going one way, it's very hard for one fish to just break out of that, because you're going through people telling you that you look crazy, people judging you, like you said, people making you feel like, oh, well, since you're not going with the majority, then you must be a minority. You must be a little bit less than, or you must be a little bit off.
Or you're wrong.
Or you're wrong. And it's like, who said what was right or what was wrong inherently? Why are we just blindly following societal structures and societal beliefs based off of what the same individuals that we know are corrupt are telling us is the right and the wrong way? Because if we know they're corrupt, then we know that eventually they are doing certain things to push their own agendas and to allow themselves to stay in power. So why would you take fact from somebody that you know is corrupt and want to stay in the position that they stay in, want to keep you below
so they can be
bottom
high?
Of the barrel?
Yeah,
right.
Literally.
So it's just like, why not break that mold? Why not ask why? Why, like, I'd ask why about a whole bunch. When I was growing up, I was always asking why. Why I got to do this? Why I got to do that? And I know a lot of people got irritated, but why? Like,
can you explain it to me?
Literally why? And I think you're getting upset because I'm asking you why, and you really don't know why. And because you never asked. And you just was following blindly. And now I done made you feel some type of way, because now you're projecting you being a follower onto me. And I'm not, and I wasn't born or raised to be a follower.
Right.
And it's like, even like going into what my mom was raising us like even then I caught my mom on some certain instances where I would be like, Mom, why I got to do this, or why I got to do that? And she would get blowed, but I think she would get upset because she was seeing that I was breaking a simulation that she didn't even know that she was caught in a sense, like traditional values of an oldest daughter. Like I always ask my mom, like, why do you feel the need that I have to watch these kids?
When they're not mine.
And she would get pissed at me for saying that. But no, genuinely, why do you feel the need to, why do you, and then that creates, I was just telling a lot of my mom about that the other day. We had a sit down and I'm like, a lot of the roles that you thought you were instilling responsibility into me was really just blurring the lines of the relationship between me and my sisters and my brothers and you and I. Because as a kid growing up and being given all this responsibility and being programmed with being somewhat having adult-like responsibility and then being treated like a child is a real fuck up. It's a mind fuck, because it's just like you're giving me all this responsibility, and then you're taking it away because you want me to be submissive to you, but you've done giving me this responsibility, and I've seen the world and life at a different perspective, and now you're trying to change it and make me go back into being somewhat childlike so you could be in control again. When whole time you've already released some of that control once you gave me that responsibility. And a lot of parents don't think about it like that. But that's the programming that our community was instilled in when way back 400 years ago when we were slaves, and our moms had to go into the field, and our daughters had to do what? Take care of the kids, because the kids can't go into, I don't know what certain plantations did, but I figure at a certain age, your daughters or anything like that were known to watch the children. And that just was a continuous thing.
Right.
Like, if you're the first daughter, then yeah, you're going to help mom take care of the home and stuff like that. But when does the first daughter be a kid? Is their time frame until you have another child?
That is a very interesting
Because a lot of times they don't do that with the first son. The first son isn't looked at as, have all this responsibility, from what I know in my life experience. I can't speak to it wholly, but if you feel otherwise as a first son, let me know. But as a first daughter, looking at first sons, and not first sons as a first child too, because you could be a first son and be the second child. But first daughter, firstborn is always really tough.
Is that
yes.
your role? Okay.
First daughter, firstborn of 5. So I've seen I would say most of my childhood was good. I didn't have a horrible childhood or anything like that, but given that much responsibility early on definitely did shape me a little bit differently.
What is y'all's gap?
Me and my first sister, 2 years.
2 years.
And then after that, it was 10. So I was 10, and me and my sister were 10 and 8, and then my baby sister were born, and my mom was just all right, not saying
so
grow up.
That's when you adopted the role of
helping mom. Yeah.
Got you.
And it wasn't in a sense of forced to help mom, but it was more so why wouldn't I?
Right.
If she knows that I can go fix my sister some cereal or some breakfast, then of course I'm going to do that.
The simplicities, right?
Yeah, and then it started to eventually gradually become more responsible, okay, high school, make sure your sister gets to the bus stop and stuff like that, when it's just okay, mom had to go to work, so have to make sure the little sister get to the bus stop, because it's just mom got to make sure food is on the table.
Right, okay.
And it's just certain things like that. And now finding a lot of myself in just speaking to different people, because I realized that my story is just my story. It's other young women out here that has the same that has went through the same things and seen the light and continue to try to break that programming. And that's another form of programming, parental programming, because we don't even see that we are programmed to do a lot as individuals. Mm-hmm. And until you gain that your own sense of self and saying okay, now I'm an adult and I have to fend for myself in the world, you have to create your own belief systems and your own families and everything like that, which a lot of us in the time frame, we weren't really taught none of that stuff, because our parents were caught up in a whole system around the 80s and everything, in the late 70s, of a wave of difference in our society, because we've seen all types of heavy drugs take place and everything like that. So it changed the dynamic of families everywhere. So it's just we went from our grandparents being 16, 18, getting married, building their home, building a foundation and everything like that, to our grandparents. Some of our grandparents were addicts themselves.
Right.
Wasn't at home with our parents and everything like that. So our parents had to fend for themselves, and just created a new tradition of parents not home, kids is wilding, kids is raising kids, because you not really taught nothing or taught that well because your parents not home.
Now I talk about that with today's generation too, because the same way that you just said that they had to fend for themselves back in the day, there are things that me and my parents talk about, for example, the normality of the killings and the murders and everything, and it's it's becoming so normalized, and I'll be how I see it is this has always been happening, but now it's amplified because we do have more access to things that we would have never seen. You know, we growing up in a time where whatever's happening in China, we can literally go on Google and see. We can go on TikTok and see. When y'all were growing up, if it wasn't on y'all local news channel or whatever, or
in a library or in a newspaper,
and even that takes time, because the information is already there. but it has to be processed. It has to be printed. It has to be dried. It has to be you know what I'm saying? It has to go through this whole process before it even gets to you. And then on top of that, you have to buy it.
Right. So and it might be a week or so in the time frame that you get what happened in China 2 weeks ago. And now you just now hearing the news and
literally. Yeah. When BioLab exploded, we all knew about it. Yeah. Because I was at home.
People was driving by, putting on ATL Scoop. These are normal people delivering the news.
Exactly.
And so my question is, when we talk about programming, when are we going to defund the news that we follow on an everyday basis? These mass media companies
literally
that people follow and see as fact, but we see they report what they want to report. And then it's not the world news. It's not what's going on.
It's what they want you to know.
Because why didn't people know that one of the environmental activists about the BioLab died minutes after he testified about the BioLab causing harm to people?
See, and I honestly didn't know
literally
that.
Minutes. And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for TikTok. Because the news isn't reporting it. So it's just like...
The beauty, honestly, the beauty in being a mass media student is that I can't watch a movie and just enjoy it. I dissect the movie from the characters, the lighting, the attitudes, like everything. Yes. And I'm like, or sometimes I'll rewatch something and I'll be like, how did I miss this?
Right.
How did I, like, now this makes sense to why this is led up to this and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing because they putting things there and they not putting things there.
Yeah.
So just like you said, how did we not know that? Because they don't want us to know. So they're not going to tell us.
Because people are going to start being, it's going to raise flags to the right people. Because that's not coincidental.
Right.
You testified that a biolab is causing harm to people in the area.
Do you not know how?
And minutes later,
were you getting the alerts
about the biolab?
I don't know how close you are.
I'm in Brookhaven, and they were still sending alerts to us like close your windows and everything like that. And the thing is, when the biolab was happening, the news was saying the biolab was happening, not telling people put your mask on, like stop using your AC because it's bringing air from outside into your home. So it's just like, yeah, you're telling people to stay in the house, but you're not telling them to stop using their AC.
Literally.
Wear a mask if you do decide to go outside. Don't use your AC in your car. Like, you're not telling people the fundamentals of what they should know. So when people show up to the hospitals, heart, chest, hurting, all these different
headaches, migraines, and eyes burning and everything. When I tell you, it was so, what was it, a week or two ago? However, because we had to be out of work. And this biolab's in, I hate telling y'all, but I live close and near. But you see what people are saying on Facebook, like the normal people. Then you see what the alerts are saying to us. Oh, everything's fine. Or 10 minutes later, stay in place and shelter. So do I go to work?
Or what? Because you're misinforming individuals.
Because the people on Facebook is telling me that this is still smoking and it's yellow and it's orange and it's this and it's that. Girl, all the like when it first was going, have you seen any of those pictures and everything?
Yeah.
But she ain't coming today, so. Yes, that's fine.
Oh, yes. You did say everything really do happen for a reason.
My cousin was late. You was late, but it worked.
Yeah.
It literally flowed. Like, and that's fine. Like, even because Shorty had texted me this morning. And I'm like, I just thank y'all for communicating.
Yeah.
And I was telling another person that last week, because I've been doing interviews for like the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the commonality between y'all was that y'all communicate. And I appreciate that so much. Like, what people don't really understand is that all you got to do is talk to me.
Yeah.
If you running late, let me know.
Right.
I just don't like waiting around.
Yeah.
If something happened or whatever the case, or even the fact that y'all all had reached out and was like, we're still good.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all just beat me to it. Because I try to be as professional as possible because, like, I do take this really serious. Like,
as you should. This is your art. This is your form of the things that you present to the world. So I understand that, too.
Yes.
And that's why I was communicating, because I know how I am about passion projects and things that I do that I hold dear to my heart.
Yeah.
And especially outsourcing and doing them with different people can always be a little bit, like, not mind-wrecking, but kind of like, I wonder if they're going to take it as deeply as I am, because when you're opening your heart to somebody to share your space, and definitely a safe space from what we talked about, because you started this just wanting to be heard. So it's just like, not communicating just seems like a real dickhead thing to do. Like, to be honest. And that's just all around and when you're doing any type of business. And
Yeah.
that's the thing about today's like society that kind of throws me, because it's just like, it's not hard to tell somebody what you have going on, but a lot of people feel like other folks are not entitled to know. But it's just like, sometimes you gotta let that ego go. You gotta shed that ego,
It's
because
crazy.
you're especially when you're dealing with somebody else's time. That shit is precious. You do not get
Common
that back.
courtesy. And me and my mom talk about this all the time, and that's why I was like, for that many of you guys to be communicating with me, that made me so happy. Like, I've been so happy all week. I just been like, these people have common courtesy. I can talk to these people. I can be around these people.
Yeah.
These are the type of people that I like to be around, because, like, let's say we plan a trip and something's going on where, I don't know, money is involved or something.
Yeah.
If you let me know, maybe I can help.
Right.
Maybe I have a resource that will
Yeah.
help. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Maybe we could do a little afterpay or something.
You-
But we wouldn't have known that if. That's why the saying, closed mouths don't get fed. Like,
Yeah.
I feel that, because, no, for real. And closed mouths don't get heard either. Because if you feeling some type, because I feel that way too. Because it's just like, I'm open about a lot of things that
Yeah.
I experience and I go through, because I feel like my whole sole purpose, like, I always grew up like asking God, like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? My mom named me Nia, which means purpose in Swahili. So I've
Really?
always been like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I here for? What am I here for? And lately, I feel like I've been hearing God tell me, like, your purpose is to be a vessel, like, and to share your life experiences and to talk. Like, I just started getting comfortable with sharing my perspectives and my values and things like that on social media, because I've always felt like somebody's going to think of me as nuts. Somebody's going to eventually do a 5150 on me, because they feel like I'm a little bit crazy, and I don't got time for it. So
Right.
I try to like dim that when I'm on, or try to switch that and be a mask of who I think people expect me to be when I'm on social media.
Right.
And I started to drop that, because I'm like, first of all, I really don't give a fuck about what y'all think about me. The only person that could really judge me is God. And
I
even
applaud
then,
you.
like, I started to drop that about myself, because I'm like, first of all, I am not about to confine myself in no box to try to fit a male gaze, because I had to be honest with myself. Like, you're posting all of this stuff and you're telling yourself this is not for this person or that person, but I was breaking that programming. And that was another thing
Wow.
that I had to be real about myself with. Like, yeah, you like these pictures, but why do you like these pictures? Like, do you like these pictures because they highlight different versions of you that you really want the world to see, or do you like these pictures because you think other people are going to like these pictures? And that's when I started to be like, okay, this shit is really just like unserious. Like, be you, and whoever's gonna fuck with it is gonna fuck with it.
Literally,
I just
you
went
either
from there.
gonna love me or you gonna hate me. And I tell
Yeah.
people that all the time, like, because at the end of the day, I'm more of a person that's like you. I
Yeah.
love perspective. I don't care. Like, I just don't like disrespect. Don't
Yeah.
disrespect me, and don't try to force your beliefs on me.
That
but
part.
I will hear you out.
Yeah.
We can talk about it. That's
Right.
cool with me. But oh, girl, I love you. You're a breath of fresh air. I can tell you that, because it's like I've had. Let me see if I've had that same type of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like I've never really been the type of person that's like getting thousands of likes, or I barely get 50. Like,
Yeah.
I barely get that. That's
Right.
pushing it. So when I post, I always tell myself, like, do you like it? You
Yeah.
post it in.
Right.
And just like even with my content, I know there has been so much rebuttal throughout from 2019 to now.
Yeah.
And people trying to tell me how to run my podcast.
Yeah.
And when I say people, I don't mean anybody close to me, because I feel like people who are closer to me have more of a best interest in me.
Yeah.
People who if I met you yesterday and you just came on a podcast and you're like, well, I think you should do. Oh, do you?
Then you do it. If you think that's the best way to do it, then you do it. Show me. And then I just was watching a video, and it's just like, I've always taken this advice myself, but I don't know if feel like listening to people that are not where you expect to be, because it's just like, you have no podcast, you have no equipment to film one. So how are you going to tell me what I should do with my unless you're over here getting millions of views each time you drop a podcast episode? You don't need to be telling me jack shit. And even then, there's ways to deliver a message.
So I can receive it the way
Yeah.
you're intending, literally.
And people don't know that other people or people that are open-minded and big on empathy can feel body language, and I could feel your energy shift. Like, that was not from love, or that was not from a positive energy source. You're trying to be funny, and you're trying to make me feel less than, and I'm not about to let you do that shit. I'm going to definitely, and I try to grow with not trying to be so combative with people that are trying to be negative towards me, because I'm quick to go like 0 to 100. Because if I feel like you're trying to disrespect me, then I'm about to hurt your feelings. And I had to be bigger than that, because I'm like,
you don't deserve it.
You don't deserve all of that energy from me, because it takes more out of me to be pissed off and to tell you about yourself than it is for me to be like, okay.
Because as soon as you get mad and you do what you gotta do, you'll walk away, be mad for how long, right?
Yeah.
Because you like, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Then you gotta tell somebody about it. Then you gotta be like,
and then it's growing.
You know what I'm saying? You're
growing.
gonna keep reminding yourself, like, this person has really wronged me and I don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you just be like, you know what? All right, you got it.
Yeah.
That's gonna make them mad 9 times out of 10, because they're gonna like, what do you mean?
You didn't react the way they wanted you to.
Exactly. You didn't give them what they was looking for.
Because that saying is also true. Misery definitely loves company.
Boy,
so when you take that away from somebody, and then they start being more mad that you're not mad with them, it shows everything that you need to know. Like, yeah, that just solidified that you did that shit to piss me off. Because you're mad that I'm not pissed off is even crazier.
It's insane. Oh, girl.
And people don't see that. I don't know how people don't see that. Like, you don't.
Because they don't want to see it.
Yeah, you're not seeing.
But that's the programming.
That's the programming of it, to not take accountability for your actions. You're just thinking that, and a lot of people don't realize that some people's reaction is 9 times out of 10 justified. Because it's just like, my feelings are also valid as your actions that you took.
Yeah.
Because if you did something and I did not like it, I am very justified to be pissed off at that. And you can't be mad that I'm pissed off. And you being mad that I'm pissed off of some shit that you did, knowing that you did it to piss me off, is pissing me even more
That's
off.
Gaslighting at its finest. Like, what are you mad for? Because your evil plan didn't work is insane.
Or that I called you out on the shit that you did.
Because you thought I was oblivious to what you were doing. And I love when people underestimate and think that you don't know any better. Because you see a lot of people for who they are.
Yes.
And especially when I was younger. I feel like I talked about this one time in a earlier season. Yeah. But I've always, y'all know I don't like to brag. I'm smart. Yeah. All right, cool.
I tell people all the time that. And I take pride in that. Not saying like it's a big part of my ego, but it's rare these days. People either don't want to show their intelligence because they feel like society isn't going to accept them. I don't know why. I don't know when the whole being dumb thing is like a cool thing to be, but I take a lot of pride in loving and learning education. It's not just because I think I'm smarter than everyone, but I genuinely chase education. I chase knowledge.
Do you enjoy researching? Because
yes.
I do. Like,
so that's what I mean by I'm smart. Like, I'm going to go look that shit up myself.
Yeah.
I'm not about to just be force-fed. So, yeah, I'm going to make my own decisions and make my own conclusions and everything based off of different topics. So, yeah. I don't feel like you bragging when you say that you're smart. You should tell more people that, and I feel like that's a defense. Like, okay, let me not fuck around and play games with her. Then
they shouldn't.
Then let me be transparent, because she's obviously gonna find out either way it goes. So I feel like
sometimes I'd let people figure out at their own time, because this is a relatable part where I was wearing a mask. Yeah. When I was younger, I knew I was smart. I've been smart my whole life. So what I would do to fit in with people was to be dumb, right? Act more so clownish, if you will. Yeah. So though I was smart, they didn't catch on as fast as I did. So while I'm bored in class because I get it and they don't, now it's more so like, how do I relate to these people knowing that I don't belong here? Yeah. Because I don't, and I knew I did. Yeah. So I play that game. Act like I don't know. Yeah. I can't believe. Because honestly, my thing was, I don't want you to be by me because you're going to cheat off my test. Yeah. And you're going to, like, all the work that I put in, you didn't, and I know you didn't. Yeah. And I used to purposefully, especially if it was a computer test or something, sit in the back.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing this. Because I felt you're cheating me.
Yeah.
I used to feel like that. And then on top of that, it was like, get them test scores back.
Yeah.
And everybody like, man, what you got? I feel, I'm like, oh, I got 100.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then they'd be like, I thought you was one of us. And you're
yeah.
like, damn.
Cause you could see it. It's like, oh, I thought you were dumb too. And it's like,
And
nah,
then they try
I was
to
just
be
playing.
And then growing up, I feel you on that, because growing up, it seemed like people were like celebrating being like ignorant
dumb.
or being dumb. Like, and it's just like, especially black children. I don't know what it is or what about it, because I know we grew up in the same time. So like, you know, middle school, that age where black boys will always try to be like the class clown or try to, and it's just like, I know for a fact, and I don't know for a fact, but I feel like, I don't know why I had to say that, but it's just
strong
like,
assumption.
yeah, but it's just like, I know your parents didn't send you over here to act a damn fool. And 9 times out of 10, most of our teachers were white people or white women. So it's like, why you acting a goddamn fool up in here at this damn schoolhouse?
That's crazy. I had black teachers.
I had a lot of, like, growing up, I had a lot of white teachers. That's why when you talked about, like, colorism and stuff, I'm like, I experienced racism mainly with my teachers.
Wow.
Growing up in L.A., my mom took me to one, like, school, would never forget. It was El Segundo Middle School. I had this one art teacher, and mind you, it's art. It is art class.
Yeah. Freedom of expression, you would think.
She failed me. I never once had like an F in a class. Like that was that was on my progress report, like F. Mom was like, "How do you have F in art?" I'm like, "Mama, that woman don't like me. I'm the only black girl up there at that school. I felt like Ruby Bridges."
I was just gonna say, how was that experience? I've never experienced that.
I had a slight Oreo moment, but it's just being a kid wanting a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in a new environment. I want to feel like I belong with these children that you done placed me around, and I see that I'm different.
Right.
Because these kids don't even know what a public fucking bus is, and they see me at the bus stop. Like, what you sitting up? We thought this was just a bench. They don't even know that was I kid you not, them kids didn't even know what a damn public bus was. Yes. And talking to kids like, oh yeah, we're going to my house after school. We're going to go be in a jacuzzi. Like calling my mom like, hey, can I go over here with them? And then she was like, hell no. Get your ass on that bus and you come back home.
Go ahead. You already know the route.
Hello, yeah. And just like experiencing like, kids are really taught racism, because I didn't experience racism from other kids.
You're not the first person to say that.
Like, I did not experience racism from those white kids. Like, they didn't treat me any different. They were surprised, and they asked me a lot of questions. They were just curious.
Because you look different.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is very fair, because it's just like, oh, no, I don't want to go play soccer with y'all. Like, that's not something that I see me doing.
I'm not going to get my hair wet today. Okay.
Like, I'm not about to sweat out my hair. Like, and they was like, what you mean, like, sweat out your hair? And I'm like, I mean, my hair is pressed, and I'm not about to go and sweat it out.
My hair is natural. Please stop.
Yeah, teaching kids and stuff like that. It kind of felt like an experiment in a sense, because I was in a whole different area, but both-sided, of course, because I'm asking you, like, so what is it like I'm asking my kid, like, my other friends, like, I grew up with my dad, but my dad was kind of like in and out of jail.
Okay.
So he was battling his own demons.
Right.
Rightfully so. I mean, we're all experiencing human life for the first time. So I try to hold grace for my parents. But I'm talking to other white girls like, how does it feel like having a dad, like wake up to your dad and oh my God, I'm trying not to cry. But it's like talking to those girls and like getting different perspectives and stuff. And it taught me like, yeah, we could coexist on this planet. It's just that people are genuinely moving off hatred. And
you're going to make me cry. Please stop.
No, I'm so sorry. But it's just like, yeah.
I can see your eyes watering, and it's just like, I can't. Like, I'm an empath. Like, I feel your hurt. Hold up.
Because that shit just, it changed my viewpoint a lot, because growing up with my granddad, he was a Black Panther. Mm-hmm. So he did not like white people. So when he found out my mom was enrolling me in that middle school, he was like, why you got my granddaughter up there, all them whiteies and stuff like that? Like, he felt some type of way. But I would go back home like, granddad, these kids are not really like rude. Like, they're taught hatred. People are taught to hate different races and stuff like that. And it's just like seeing that and seeing my grandpa like move like that. It's like I can't really judge him either, because I don't know what he's experienced in his lifetime as a young kid, or who did what to him, you know? So it's just like, I can't tell you what you can and cannot believe in. I can't change your beliefs, because you have that belief for a reason.
Yeah, because you've been through life.
Right. And that's why I'm like, it takes people jumping off the porch and being like, okay, I do want to break this programming about how I was raised. Because I could have very much went up to that school and acted a fucking pum-ass fool to all them white kids up there. Like, stay the fuck away from me. Like, I don't want to be around you. I don't want, but something in me just was like, ask questions. Like, talk to that girl. Like, see, like, sit at this table with them. Like, don't be closed off. And that really, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it taught me, like, yeah, no, you choose to hate people. Like, you choose to be racist. You choose to be ignorant and do all of these things. And regardless of us having a program, when you get to a certain level where you feel like you have some depiction in your mindset, in your body, because your right and wrong is not the same as my right and wrong.
Right.
So it's just like, when you know in yourself of what right is wrong, what is right and what is wrong to you, and you still decide to go based off the programming that you were raised, then it's just like, don't you feel some type of spiritual warfare in your own, like, sense of self? Because I started to feel that way. Because I'm like, I know that how I was raised isn't how I want to be, growing and going and continuing to be this person. So I know I have to break some sense of programming within myself. Like, I know that just because my grandmother told me, like, oh yeah, she stuck with my granddad through his alcoholism and everything like that. Mind you, that's her version of love. She had free will to do that.
Right.
Because my grandpa also stuck through with my grandmother and her battles with addiction. So they were together with each other. And trauma bonding is different. So I can't tell nobody how they can and cannot love. And I also seen both of them people go above and beyond for each other on numerous occasions. So I know that just because she told me that's the way I'm supposed to love and everything like that, doesn't mean that I have to stick around because my partner is battling addiction or something like that, because that's the way I was raised. And I know in my sense of self, from right being right and wrong being wrong. And me being with somebody like that is 9 times out of 10 probably harming them more than it is, because I'm low-key enabling this shit.
Right.
Making them think that it's okay. Who knows? But all I know is that eventually I do want to form my own, like, sense of beliefs and everything like that. So when I do decide to start a family, I can move off that. And if they want to break that programming of what I instill in them, they're more than welcome to do so. That's the beauty of being human and having the free will God gave us, because we don't have to be this way. And I tell my little sister that all the time. You have free will. Just because mom said you had to go to school don't mean you had to go to school, but it's also actions. It's also reactions to every action that you take. So if you don't go to school, then yeah, you're going to be a dumbass. You
need to have some other plan.
Yeah.
You need to have something in place where it's replacing, because you don't want to just take things out and not replenish it because of the fact that now you got a hole.
Well, when I say that, my little sister is in high school. So I'm saying
so I thought you was talking about college.
No, like high school. So it's like, yeah, you could skip school. You have free will to do that. Because once she let you on that bus, you either could go into that school and go to that class, or you could skip. Not saying that it's right to skip, but if you do skip, you're not going to know what the fucking information is.
Yeah,
and your brain is still developing.
Have what you need.
Yeah, you're going to be a 25-year-old not knowing what taxes are and how to file your taxes and claim any X, Y, even though they don't teach us that stuff in school, which they should. But
it's a lot of things that they should teach us. But
just for example,
the fact that school is, in my opinion, is set to be a babysitter type ordeal because of the fact that, especially now that women,
schools now, because they didn't always used to be that way, and a lot of people should start researching how our schools are really working harder to dumb our children down. And I just had a working theory the other day, because my homegirl's like, history always repeats itself. So I'm like, okay, now a lot of people believe that we had natives here, right? Already. So I'm like, what if our natives just had some sense of knowing in their own mind, right?
Okay.
But because they didn't know what the colonizers knew, it was easier for them to become enslaved, right? So it's just like, what if our school systems are starting to try to recreate that society of people not knowing?
I would definitely believe it.
Because it's 6th graders and 7th graders reading at a 1st grade level. That's a problem. And people are now not knowing that there is when they meant no child left behind, they meant literally no child left behind. 100% graduation rate by the year 2028 is insane. When these kids, for shit sure, they
are literally getting passed along. And from a young age, because I feel like I'm very intuitive, or maybe just open. I don't know. Maybe I just see the world a little bit for what it is. I don't know. But even when we were in school and we got back to probably like ninth grade. I'm like, why are we still learning biology?
Yeah.
Why are we repeating the same
Shit.
stuff like over and over and over again? I'm like, there's so many different topics, so many different subjects, so many different skills that we could be learning. Yet we're in high school still learning about things we learned in 7th grade. What are we doing? Like, and that bothers me because it's like, I talk about this all the time. When I have my kids, I hope and pray that I have the resources to homeschool them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have all the answers. I know I don't have all the answers, but it's so many different avenues to get to for your people to be successful.
Right.
And I really want that.
Yeah.
I want my kids to be free thinkers. I want them to ask me different questions and we go find the answers together.
Hello.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have them so structuralized to where they can't think for themselves and they don't know what's going on because It's like, well, we're not learning it at school and my mom, she doesn't,
she doesn't teach me, or she doesn't have the time to teach me because she has to work and do X, Y, and Z, and my dad is not around because y'all don't lock them up for possessing 2 grams of weed. So that's just the way that goes.
Or your parents are so programmed that they don't have the answers either.
Yeah, and they're not looking to go get them either. Because they're content with where they are.
And
that's the sadder thing about it, because it's just like, well, damn, like, where does that leave Black people? Because I feel like I can't, as a Black woman, yes, I feel like the world needs to come together.
Yeah.
But I'm focused on my community at hand. First. Because I need our people to finally realize that it's a handful of us that know that we don't just come from slaves. That's a one-sided history to keep us on that one-sided dimension. Mm-hmm. We are literally the first people. Literally. And they know that.
That's why they keep it, we was talking about the hills earlier.
Yeah.
They put their highest hills on so we can stay so low. And that's why they do it. Yeah. Like, of course they know we powerful. If they didn't, they wouldn't care. Why? Because since when did you care about a toy that you didn't have no, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It ain't mean nothing. That lion means something to me because I know how it make me feel. I know what it can do for me. It's the same thing. Like, I don't see why people don't see that. And it's like, bro, just open your eyes.
Please. Because it's right there. Like, literally, once Black people realize anything that they put their mind to, they can not only succeed at it, but over excel, break world records, continue to be the best of the best. Why do you think our greatest, anything that Black people do, anything that they do, they're the best at it? We done seen, for example, we done seen an African woman win gold at the Winter Olympics for bobsledding. There is nowhere in Africa where she could go bobsledding, y'all. In the snow. They're not hearing. So it's just like, and not just saying sports is where we excel at anything like that, but it's just like, for years they want everybody to believe that Albert Einstein was the smartest person to ever roam. People have broken this man's IQ 20, 30 times over, y'all. It's Black kids with masters and PhDs and doctorates before they even are legal drinkers. Like, we have some 15-year-old right now with her doctorates in some some quantum physics science, something. I don't even want to lie. Y'all just got to look it up, please. Because it's literally Black kids that are showing that they are prodigy geniuses. Like,
I want to touch on that. The fact that, we have grade levels, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. Do you know how easy it is to soak up something, especially as a young mind? I hate when people be like, they limit the babies. They limit the babies and they act like they can't comprehend. These babies could comprehend if you put it in them.
What? My 1-year-old niece, I was just at my homegirl house watching, we was hanging out and her daughter was there. She's 1. She picked up my friend keys and found the house key. Like, not the car key. They see. Yeah, found the house key and was pointing at the door like, this is the key to this door. I'm like, this is a 1-year-old baby. She seen my chicken nuggets, bit into it and was just like, hot. It was a spicy chicken nugget from Wendy's. And my 1-year-old niece knew, like, this is what and you're right. That's why they tell people it's easier to start doing multiple languages with your child as they are younger, because it's easier for them to just pick it up. Because they're learning, their brains are still forming. So you're formulating all of that information and you're pushing that information into them. So that's why we have so many Black young prodigies, because people are starting to learn that. Yeah. That your formative years are literally
important. They so
the-
important.
and then once you release them children to the school, they gonna try to.
That was the other thing.
Yeah.
Look, because we be going the school part,
Yeah.
the babysitting part, and now that women, because that's what we had kind of.
Yeah.
When y'all took the women out the home, that cultivating part where, I can do like pour into my kids more.
Yeah.
It was stripped away.
Right.
And now it's like people are trying to survive. They're not even thinking about everything else because it's like, it's so hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, these people don't have their moms and dads to go to for this stuff because they are so stressed out.
Yeah.
And my parents, they do the best they can.
Yeah.
I love them for it.
Right.
And it's like, there was never a time where I couldn't go to them.
Right.
And even though they were working, but my parents are different.
Yeah.
They made time for what they had to make time for because they saw how essential it was.
Right.
And instead of just giving us a PSP or whatever just so we can get out their face, when I tell you my mama poured it into us like no other.
I love that.
While other people was outside playing in the summer like all day, every day, my mom made sure at least 5 days out the week in the summertime we have study time.
Yeah.
She's pouring into us. And we can go outside, later.
Yeah.
But the first 2-3 hours.
Yeah, learn you something. Read you like when
Yes.
Same way. My mom did not play that. Like in the summertime, she did not take that summer reading lightly. Go pick you up of that book. And she was gonna ask me questions. My mom didn't even have to read the goddamn book. And that's the thing. I'm over here telling my mom the book, knowing that she's gonna end up quizzing me in the back of my mind. And I'm the whole time, I knew she didn't read the book, but I'm still working off the integrity-based system because I'm like, some way, somehow, my black mother is going to know if I'm lying to her about this book plot or not.
Because that intuition.
Yeah, that'll happen in that motherfucking book, and you know it. Like, I just was not, so I feel you on that. And it's just like, sadly, people did not have our parents.
Yeah.
Or didn't have that mom or
that resource,
that person that they could trust. Yeah, that could tell them like, this is going to be formative for you. And when you talk about like parents now thinking of schools that like babysitters and everything like that, initially when schools were not school to prison pipelines,
thank you,
they actually did something for us. But along the way, a lot of people may not or know it but don't give a fuck. Henry Ford literally went to the Board of Education and was just like, hey, y'all, I need less thinkers. I need more workers at my factory.
I need grade A people. I need grade B people. I know exactly what
I need
you're
more workers.
About.
So they cut all of that trade school, vocational school and shit. Mm-hmm. Because when you reached high school way back in the 50s and stuff, because my grandpa used to tell me, and that's how most of our grandparents and things like that have high knowledge in like welding and things like that, or nursing, and a lot of our grandmothers were nurses and stuff like that, because once you got to high school, you could go to your classes were mainly like, oh yeah, you started
towards
in
your
nursing.
Pathway.
Yeah, you started in welding and stuff like that, workship and everything. But why don't we have workshop no more?
It should be. Why are we still learning basic? Why am I in language arts?
We are literally about to be working citizens and you're still teaching me some bullshit. Why don't we know how to file our taxes? If y'all want us to start filing taxes, once we start getting jobs and stuff, we got to get taxes taken out. Yet you're not telling us how to file these taxes. No school is holding classes like, learn this about the government. Learn X, Y, and Z. I will never forget my homegirl. She was an 11th grade history teacher way back when. Mm-hmm. And this is just an example about our schools. Well, because it's not necessarily her fault, because those kids had to keep getting passed along. So she's an 11th grade history teacher. It was like her first few years teaching, and they were doing like a prompt about Martin Luther King, and I was helping her grade papers, and it was just like, in 5 sentences, tell me who Martin Luther King is. 1 paragraph. It's not that hard. Mm-hmm. It's kids talking about Martin Luther King Jr., general, led the USA on the battlefield in the Civil War. I'm like, what type of shit what the fuck are you talking about? And mind you, this is paperwork you're turning into your teacher that's teaching you the subject. Playing it the way I would have never, like, when school back then, I would have never played. Like, I didn't know that people were literally playing with their like, kids really genuinely don't give a fuck. Like, and it's because the society tells them they don't have to give a fuck. Because people are now showing kids, and mind you, I don't mind kids taking alternatives to college and getting their money up and everything like that. Because sometimes, right now, especially today, you could not go get you a degree and still make you as much money as somebody with a degree if you got the resources and skills to really sell yourself, because that's what you're really doing when you go into interviews. You're selling and negotiating yourself with that business and telling them why you will be more beneficial than the next person that might be a graduate.
I'm an asset, not a liability.
Yeah. Hello.
You know, it's Lord.
So it's
that's so crazy.
Because it's like kids are really being taught that. Now, mind you, it's some kids that will work for.
Yeah.
And it's some kids that it won't work for. But it's just like, it's trial and error. But when you have the whole society telling you that, oh yeah, you can go get rich by doing dumb shit, and it's just like, really, money only increases the individual that you are at the time frame of when you gain it. So it's like, if you get rich while you're on dumbass shit, then you're going to continue doing dumbass shit with the resources and the money that you have.
Yeah,
and eventually
now you feel like that's what it's working.
Yeah,
it's working until it don't.
Yeah, unfortunately, and we've seen it happen time and time again. Yeah. So it's just like, when are people ever going to learn? Like, little kids that's right now, digital footprints matter, because I seen some girl, it was a podcast, they were talking to sex workers on there.
Okay.
And she was like, when she first got out of high school, she had tried it just to get some quick money. And then she didn't really want to do it no more. And she tried to go get a job, and they wouldn't hire her. So that forced her to keep in sex work. And it's just like, and that's the thing. Young, impressionable minds are seeing that 25, 26-year-old women are doing this stuff and making millions off of it. That 25 or 26-year-old woman might have already thought about all the pros and cons to all the decisions that she was making.
Yeah.
But you're not at that point of life yet where you're thinking about all the reactions to the actions that you take. So when you're impulsive and just jump into something that's crazy and that's digitally shared with the world, regardless of if you think it's private or not.
Right.
Somebody somewhere can find it.
Yeah, nothing is truly private.
We just said that earlier. If you go looking for something, you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
And these companies have specific departments of people that can go and get around the loopholes and everything and find all of your incriminated secret information.
You thought you was on private incognito.
Hello.
Okay. All right.
Right now, I tell my homegirls, because I used to be a flight attendant, and that's another thing about free will. When I left VSU, I'm not gonna say like proud college dropout, because I left school and I was really on some shit where I was just like, school was not for me at the time. I had different mental shit going on. So I was just like, instead of wasting my own money being here and not doing my best, I'm just going to leave. So
that's the realization part.
Yeah.
You was real about it, and you were honest with yourself. I don't think people understand how crucial that is.
Yeah.
If you see it's not working for you and you put whatever you needed to put in there to feel like you did what you had to do.
Right.
Hey.
Then it's okay to bow out gracefully instead of being $45,000 in debt at 25 trying to figure out how the fuck you gonna pay this shit back. Now you can't do shit else with your life because you owe fucking Sally Mae or whatever the fuck.
With daily interest. With daily interest, it's insane.
And they do not play.
No,
and it's just
not,
like
they will take everything that you have.
Because back when they started these businesses, once you left school and you had that degree, oh baby, you could go get you a job for a shit sure.
Okay, hold on. Because the degrees. Way back when, bachelors meant something.
Yeah.
They don't mean nothing no more. And you want me to tell you what I think? I think it's because more black people started
gaining bachelors.
Yes. So now that more black people and the people in power, like, oh nah, we see them getting it. No, now you need a master's. Now you need a doctorate. Now you need an extra doctorate.
So you need to spend more money.
Yes.
And that's what we talk about.
Because we know that's what you want.
The web is all connected, because whenever we do something, then they have to go push the finish line further back. So it's like, when are we gonna finally take our country that we built back?
Take it back, yes.
And say that I'm no longer gonna fund, because my homegirl was saying that a lot of these businesses were scared about the port closing down because they know that these are essentials that people need. And she was just like, if consumers stop consuming, I said, people are not going to stop consuming until they break that program that they think that this shit is essential.
Right.
An iPhone is not fucking essential.
It's not.
A MacBook is not essential. None of these shits are essential, but the society made you feel like you would be up here if you had this shit. So you as a black person want to always feel somewhat, even though in the back of your mind or in the front of your mind you're telling yourself, I don't care to be equal with these people.
You do.
You want to be. You don't want to be viewed as less than.
Right. Right.
by anyone. And I understand that. I get that. But it's at some point, they're not going to stop viewing us as less than until we stop chasing their approval and their validation.
Because if you look at even the differences between what if a person of color gets money and what they do with it versus a white person who gets money and what they do with it, you wouldn't even know that they had money because of how they dress, what they drive, and everything else. We, on the other hand, we got to go get the biggest chains, got to go get the grills, got to go get Lamborghinis, got to go get G-Wags, like, you know?
Why? And it's just because they weren't ever... I feel like white people were never slaves to their own mind. And that's why. Black people are slaves to their own mind. And until we break those chains, we are going to forever continue to be slaves.
These people don't care what you can afford.
No, they don't.
Because their money... and this money is so different. And, and I had a friend tell me that because he was in the NFL and he was telling me, he was like, I got in no room with them people. And I saw that the money I made was good for what I thought it was.
But not to them. Not to them. Because
your money is boat, theirs is yacht.
Yeah. And even then, some of their money is island.
Do you feel me?
Private plane, private.
Hello.
And that's what I be telling a lot of like, for example, when Drake got his Air Drake plane, I was like, to myself, I'm like, okay, this is reaching heights, but then it's just like, that shit definitely made me side eye because I'm like, do y'all know how much money it costs to fuel a plane?
I actually really don't.
Too damn much.
Okay, and I believe it.
And he's not he's not on no baby plane. He's on a plane that you and I would get on if we're traveling with other people in like Delta.
Oh.
Like these are like big ass planes. Airbus 330 could hold up to like them is big ass planes. Them are normal planes that we would get on traveling with like Delta and other things, buying commercial flight tickets. He has a commercial airplane. That's a different level. We don't see other artists flying around in commercial airplanes
first because I can't fathom right now
how big they are.
Yeah, and I know that I'm trying. I'm going to go somewhere.
They're big as fuck. When you get on one and you see, you're gonna make sure when you look because your flights will always tell you what type of plane you're on.
Okay.
You can always see if you're going to be on like an Airbus 330 or something like that. They'll tell you the type of plane craft you're going to be on and everything like that, how many miles it's flown and things like that.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that they tell you that information, but they do. Bro, them planes is humongous. I got on one of them and I'm like, this is the one that he just be sitting here
by himself.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's why our money is differently because for example, for him, he has some sort of black in him, right? Because with his dad.
His dad, right?
But he was raised by a white woman, and you could tell that he spends his money differently. Because when Drake popped out, you seen him with different chains and shit like that and everything like that, but he still looked like somewhat of a normal individual.
Yeah. I still remember his first BET performance.
You knew his association and shit like that, but Drake wasn't running around when he first popped out with all of these flashy designer labels on him because he was spending his money somewhat as a white man, but he was still in a black space. So he had to have some type of correlation with his black peers. So he wasn't going to walk around looking like Adam Sandler, but he was going to have some type of correlation with his black peers. He was stacking his money a little bit differently.
I'm about to say, because he was an actor before.
Yeah. He had got into the whole rapping stuff.
Does it come from money? Like prior to acting and everything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so because they said his dad was from down south Memphis. So I don't know if he was I don't know his daddy, so I don't know if his daddy was some type of like in the street type of vibe, so I don't know.
Right.
But what I'm getting at is he was able to he showed kind of both because it's people that were in the field with Drake at the same amount of time that are nowhere near his caliber as far as money wise, as far as net worth. Because we never seen French Montana. Where the fuck is French Montana at? He popped out around the same time as Drake. He had hella hits. He had Pop That. He was everywhere. You could not go anywhere without hearing Pop That by French Montana.
Yeah.
Now you never hear that. You never see that man. DJ Khaled. He had hits on hits on hits on hits. Not saying that he's not where he's not prominent or anything like that, but it's just like money is different
Yeah.
for Drake. So it's just like, and then seeing now when artists get money, like you said, or anybody gets money, they're quick to blow it on a designer label. And it's just like, why are you? And that's the thing about the black dollar. They're so quick to spend it in white spaces that
Yeah.
never try to accommodate us ever. You wanting to go buy Michael Kors and Gucci and all that, Balenciaga and all of that shit, when they've shown you time and time and time again, they do not want you wearing their shit. Why the fuck are you giving these people your hard-earned money?
Literally. No,
To try to fit in
seriously.
with your white counterparts?
Just to be like, to prove a point that they don't care about. I
try to-
can afford it.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They're trying to fit in with their white counterparts that look at them still as niggas. Normal everyday
Essentially.
niggas. And then they're trying to be looked at as above them from normal everyday niggas. So it's like, how do you want us to continue to relate with you if you're continuing to belittle us from where you just came from, and you want them to take you in?
To praise you, yeah. And it's crazy because your community would have praised you. Your community would have supported you in every aspect of your journey if you had allowed them to.
Yeah.
Y'all, I feel like a lot of them get to where they at, and then it's like, because sometimes, like I tell you, I
Yeah.
can't even fathom how big a plane is right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I cannot fathom how much money people have.
Yeah.
And I just be like, man, they did just buy a $1 million house, right? Then on top of that, you got $1 million bills.
Yeah.
And then everything else that you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how much money do you
have?
actually have? And I'm like, if that's the case, why don't, like, I'm not saying that you do whatever you want to do with your money, but why don't you pour back into your community? And that never made sense to me.
And the same people that support you, because they're not. That's the part of the programming. Because I think a lot of people. Have you ever heard the story of Mansa Musa?
Yes. Richest
And
man, right?
Richest man to ever exist.
Yes,
To
I
ever
have.
exist. And he broke the world economy when he went around sharing his riches with people in his community because they could not fathom that he had that much fucking gold.
Money.
So you know what they
Like-
did? They dismantled that man's entire family. We probably don't know who who is a part of this man's lineage or anything like that, because they made sure that his sons would be so poor and so broke once he died, because he wasn't able to manage and do the things that he needed to do to keep his
Okay.
traditions going. They were broke. They were piss poor broke. Like, I don't like that. The trajectory of that family saddened me, because it's just like, this man started his lineage by sharing his wealth.
Right.
So it's just like, I can only imagine if in today's time, black people were to get money and try to share that wealth with other people. One, I feel like when black people reach a certain level where they are financially secure and financially stable enough to give back to other people, they may, in that sense, be too far gone mentally to remember what it felt like to be where they're at, where normal common
Yeah.
black people are at. So it's like, it's hard to relate to them, because it's just like, you're back at this 1% where a lot of people very rarely reach those heights at. So your relation and your relatability to other people dwindles down. The more you reach higher heights, the less relatable you become, because people cannot relate to making $100,000 in a day. What the fuck? What do you mean? And then other people may feel entitled. Like,
some
why the
people
fuck
don't
are
even make that in 2 years. Like,
in a day, a hundred. Just for example, about white money being differently, because when I think about white money, I think about a lot of it being old money, or a lot of it being
Right.
like big pharma or connected to big
Generational
pharma.
wealth type, yeah.
And at some point, that got to be blood money. You got to have some type of dirt on your hands to do something like that. For example, the Sackler family with the whole Oxycontin. They coined the Oxycontin thing. They were the
Educate
ones.
me.
So the Sackler family basically coined Oxycontin and was pushing it on the market to other doctors and like hospitals and everything like that. They were able to push it initially so much because they were lying to people, saying it was a 1% addiction rate, when they knew damn well it was more so a 1% recovery rate from Oxycontin. Because once you're on that, and it's hard to get off of that. It's very hard to get off of Oxycontin. It's a very addictive, highly addictive drug. So when they were pushing it as pain medicine.
Oh my God.
Women will go, like, they started pushing it in the Midwest to people in minings.
Okay.
So people would come in with back pain and everything like that. Your doctor is prescribing you 500 milligrams of Oxycontin. You take one of those pills, you're immediately hooked because you feel a certain type of euphoria that you never felt in your life. All that pain, all of that is gone. You're just a shell of who you are, just numb shell of who you are.
That is so
I never
scary.
personally
Oh, wow.
took it, but watching the documentaries about people who were on it or
Yeah.
tried to recover from Oxycontin is crazy. They just made numerous documentaries about this family. So the Sackler family, at the prime of Oxycontin being sold, these people were making $100 million a week.
A week?
A week. $100 million a week.
First, wow, okay. Oh, wow, this is too much.
Then a week. Do you know that they ended up having, even with them having a class action lawsuit and all of them people suing them and them paying all of these people out, they still can push Oxycontin. It's still people that just know the damages behind Oxycontin. They didn't go to jail. They didn't do any of that because technically, I mean, they did lie about the recovery rate and everything like that, but they didn't force anyone to
take it.
to take the pill or force anyone to become addicted to these pills.
That is insane. Like, even the wording, like, oh, I didn't tell you to take this pill, even though I lied about what it does. Well, I trusted that you were telling the truth. Right. So,
and then you're paying doctors a surplus if they push it even more.
Right. And
so now
that's
you can't even
crazy.
trust your doctors because people are like, I just had a headache. The fuck did I need 500 milligrams of Oxycontin for? And they're giving
that goes into the or at least from what I know, how black people do not mess with doctors.
Yeah.
But it's because they do stuff like
that.
Like,
or how they were, or just how they just started debunking that black people don't feel
pain. Who told y'all that?
Where the fuck did y'all get that from? Just because I have a darker shade complexion, you think I just not supposed? That's the programming.
It is so insane.
That's dangerous programming. But that's because our country was meant to not serve us. It never was meant to serve us.
I
So
was
when
just
people
talking
be like,
about this.
oh yeah, why the police doing all of that? The police started out as slave catchers, y'all.
They don't want you here.
They never that sheriff badge is literally like the North Star. The sheriff badge, where it's like that star. You know that North Star that that slaves used to have to go to run after
because it's the brightest one you see. Okay.
They tell us right there. We couldn't
Everything
put
is
that,
there for a reason.
We couldn't keep the name as slave catchers because it's no more slaves.
Right.
But more than 75% of people in our law enforcement are a part of traditional Mormon church.
Wow.
The traditional Mormon church believe that black people are literally demons. So how do you expect these people to protect and serve you when on both ends they're taught that we are subhuman, we are below humanity,
we are the scum
in their perspective,
and that's what
and how dare we live freely in the country that we built on our backs,
even though they
how dare you sleep well at night?
It's so much.
That's what I mean.
It's
Hatred
so
is
much.
continuously taught, and until we use our voices that God gave us to wake people up and show these people that we can never be equal in their eyes because they never seen us as equal. First of all, we're not even, as black people, we're not even not trying to start no gender, no racial war or nothing like that, but to come from the first people ever.
Yeah.
That's a different type of shit. Like, the first people ever.
Like, wow.
Do you know how they hate us so much? They made with our maps. They made our maps fake.
Yes.
So we wouldn't even know that our countries are way bigger than these white ass countries. They made Africa and South America so damn small.
Made it seem
so damn small. That's why none of the shit makes sense when we experiencing weather and changes and shit like that. Because none of this shit makes sense because it's not real.
It's not real because they and this is the narrative and this is the media and this is what we've been telling y'all from the beginning.
Right.
They're gonna put what they want you to know out there, even if it's not the truth. And that's what we getting at. And that's why it's so important to research it yourself, get into it, actually know that, if you find this out, you might not be able to go back.
Right.
Because you cannot unknow something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's true.
It's just, and this is why we told y'all at the beginning. We don't know where this conversation is going to go, because it's like, it's so deep. It's deeper than what y'all know. It's deeper than what you think. And some of y'all don't even think. So it's...
I hope you do start thinking for yourself.
Yes.
Because that's the beauty of living this life. No one has the thought processes like you do. And God gave you your specific perspective and brain so you could be that piece of difference in the world.
Yeah.
Don't try to fit in. If God wanted us all to be the same, he wouldn't. What would be the purpose of creating the rest of us?
So many different people.
Exactly. Why would we all be the same? That would not make life any fun.
No, it wouldn't. And it's like, because y'all know what I say, we everybody and nobody at the same time. The conversations that we have is like almost internal conversation.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, obviously I've never been out the South.
Yeah.
You have.
Right.
But because you have that experience and I have my experience and we able to do this, it's like, wow, that's crazy. And then it's like I'm empathic. I don't know if you empathic or not, am. But as y'all seen, we was crying together.
Yeah, a little earlier. We had a moment.
Like, hold on, wait a second.
There ain't nothing wrong. It's just a normal day of an empath. Because I be scrolling on TikTok, like, watching Hope Core, like, oh, my God, no way that girl just met her daddy. Or seeing her dad that just came back. Like,
I do
military recuperation. Don't show me nothing. I will cry.
All the chills, I get them.
Like,
if I hear somebody sing and hit a note,
oh my gosh,
because that music, when I tell y'all, it's the music
different
too, bro. It's oh my god.
I could talk about the music all day. The music is programming on a different level because people understand frequencies. Our ears will pick up frequencies, but we are in our brains don't know that we're doing it.
Bro, when I tell y'all, I'm so excited right now, and I know I don't have that much storage left, but it's just. What people don't know, like Chris Brown, I know I talk about him a lot, but his music is at 432 hertz, and that's like a common, like, I be so calm. And even before I even knew that, I would listen to Chris. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I put his album on and just vibe, because I know it's gonna help me. Why did it help me? I guess he knew the science in the music. Right. What do they call it? What's the proper term? I can't even think of it right now. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
I'll be the same way because I'll be like, I don't know that word, but I'll look it up later.
It's a type.
It'll come to you.
I don't even know. I don't even know my phone at. But anyways, guys,
I'll be more intentional on the message because. Just like you said, for example, with Chris Brown, like I just had a moment with my friends where I had like a little like ick moment with him because I started to break down some of the things that he's done publicly. Now, mind you, I don't know these people, and I feel like a lot of times within our own programming, we are programmed to have parasocial relationships with people that we don't know. Word, so parasocial is like you don't really know them.
Okay.
Like for example, how a lot of people, and I'm not trying to come for folks when I say this, a lot of people form relationships with celebrities, like for example, the Beehive or the Barbs and stuff like that.
I got you.
You don't know this, like you don't know that woman.
You just know their internet persona.
You know what they allow you to see.
True.
To be honest, you know what they allow you to see.
Yeah.
You are not waking up in Beyonce's house next to her every day.
You don't know Blue.
So you don't know them. Yeah. So not trying to make somebody feel crazy or nothing like that, but it's common. And it's not something that is to be shunned or anything like that. It's human connection.
It is what it is, yeah.
Every human wants to be relatable to another human. That's just within our own human hearts that we can't really control that.
Yeah.
So I understand that. But when the dangers of parasocial relationship is when you think that you genuinely do know that individual. Because I started to really look at the public things that Chris Brown has done.
Okay.
And it's just like, yeah, he needs to take up like boxing or something. Like you are not no singer. Like you really are low key violent. Like the things that you've done to women that you dated is high key scary as fuck. And it's just like it's low key pushing sociopathic bounds because it's just like you're singing and you're releasing these songs as if you know how it feels to be heard. But yet you continuously publicly stalk and harass these ladies that you used to be with.
Right.
Because there should have been no reason why he showed up at that club that woman was at trying to fight the person that she was on a date with. And we all looked at that and thought that was cool or funny. Because no, in real life, if we was hanging out with our homegirls and they ex showed up trying to fight and trying
it's crazy.
We're gonna look at them like, call the police. Like, this man needs to be in jail because he's like a danger to women for real.
Right. Now, just like we was talking about earlier with the R. Kelly, the monster, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people, I don't know Chris Brown.
Yeah. But
I do vibe to his music.
Yeah.
If it's in the frequencies, it's in the frequencies. If it's in the lyrics, it's in the lyrics. But I do, and I can't. Everybody know I'm a Chris Brown fan.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know that man personally, and I don't like when people be like, oh, that's gonna be like one question I really don't like. I don't like when people be asking me like, oh, if he basically you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you do it? I'm like, nah.
I don't know. Y'all don't know that.
I don't know him for like that.
Y'all,
I mean, he's an attractive man. But
yeah. Y'all don't.
Would I want to go that far? Nah, like relax.
And then, is that not like a transference of energy? You don't really like sex. Is really like. Why would you just somebody you don't? Okay, cool, because you think that man for real. Because you think that he fine, and that's what he profits off of. His a lot of sexual attraction that men and women have to him. His talent is undeniable. You can't deny that man is talented. But at the end of the day, it's some things that he does do that is
it's questionable.
It's questionable as hell. Where in the back of your mind you're thinking like, well, I don't think about this in the back of my mind, but it's just like, who are you outside of public perception? Because this could be just a persona that you have to put on because of who knows what contract that you sign or whatever may have you when you get into that entertainment industry. Because at the end of the day, their job is to entertain the masses.
Yeah. Just like Orlando Brown. Now,
no matter what they do.
Yeah. No matter if it's him, Kels, Diddy.
Yeah.
Let's put
a lot of that
in
shit
there.
is entertainment, and at some point, it's hard to really depict what's reality and what's scripted because it's like
about say.
Did she know that he was gonna show up and do all of this big thing so they could have this public like fallout and maybe that increased his album sales or something like that? I don't know. That's
or
the
thing. Distractions of it all.
Yeah, because what was happening around that time?
What was happening, and it's always like that.
Yeah,
and I like the fact that we have this era of media.
Yeah,
like social media.
Yeah,
because more people are, especially TikTok. TikTok presses so much because they study you. I mean, they study your interests and they see like, what are you looking at? What are you hearting and everything? What are you sharing? All right, we're going to show you more of that.
Right.
Over time, over like a course of a week, if you're liking and posting and doing all of this, they will keep showing you and you will keep seeing.
Yeah.
And you will learn because it's like, this isn't the media that the television is putting out. This is stuff that people are researching day in and day out and they are sharing with us because now we're all
opening that third eye.
Thank you,
because a lot of things are, like we said earlier, like hidden in plain sight and
right up under this mother right here.
And like, for example, I had to look up myself that the foundation that the Illuminati was built upon wasn't inherently bad. It's just a group of people that are illuminated. They know the truth. Yes. And that's what the whole media push of them talk about, like, oh, they're bad. But it's really like, no, they just have research. Like we were talking about Plato's allegory of the cave. They have seen the light. That's where their name comes from. Illuminati comes from illuminate. Mm-hmm. So they've seen they know the truth.
What's illuminated?
They're
the
no
stars.
longer
Hollywood, the stars.
Yeah.
What do we call celebrities? Stars. Like
we're part of the theory right now where people are like trying to dig outside of the cave,
the norm, like
that Plato was showing, because it's a group of people's right now that's still stuck watching the shadow puppets on the wall. Like, this is reality. And this whole time it's just like, you don't even know that that's a whole puppet performing to keep you.
Master. Like, come on.
Everything is connected. It all has, like, I was just, because somebody was talking about the whole astronaut thing.
Yeah.
Why do the astronauts have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Is it because they're actors? Is it because it's fake?
They will tell you. They have told.
Is it because it's scripted? Because it's just like,
who was filming? I'm sorry,
The
but
man walking on the moon?
Like, it doesn't make sense. So who stepped off,
Now
off
all
the
of a
thing
sudden,
first?
you think they just made CGI like the 21st century, y'all? You think they just and they was over here making Nagasaki fucking radioactive bombs?
Please stop playing. Why haven't we been back? So you telling me we have more resources and more technology back in the 19 whatever instead of right now?
If that's the case, if we were landing on the moon and stuff, why are there astronauts stuck in space right now as we speak today? Scared, talking about they hear a heartbeat outside of they aircraft. And it's a Boeing. We're not gonna talk about Boeing though, because I know how Boeing get with the whistleblowers.
Jeez, it's like
and that's not public news right now that we have. They've been stuck in space for months, almost going on a year that they've been stuck up there.
But it's like, because me and my friend, we have the water theory.
Yeah,
of space, water, NASA, the ocean.
Yeah.
Why do you move like that? Like, why do you? The fact that you practice in a pool for space. All right.
The saying always was as above, so below. It always is. The same shit with Ali Carter now speaking about these tunnels and everything like that. That's under the. Didn't Jordan Peele already low key expose that with us?
With us, yes.
Isn't art already imitation of life, and vice versa?
When people, they don't. Oh my God.
He couldn't tell us verbatim what they were doing, but he's trying to warn us. This is exactly what the fuck they were doing. He told us that with the whole conscious mind. With Get Out. When they had that man trapped in his own mind frame, he's telling y'all. They've been doing that shit for a long. It's people right now that believe the celebrities that we think that
the clones.
They're really, their brain is really not, their consciousness is really not theirs. It's someone else's that paid top dollar. That's what they believe.
It's so much stuff. And like, bro, when I first seen those movies with Jordan Peele, the only one I didn't really care for was Nope. And
Nope. The reason
I tried.
The only way I got behind Nope is because of I watched like somebody debunk it.
Okay.
Debunk the whole movie about it all. And I'll have to share it to you because it gave me a little bit better understanding. Okay. I guess just watching or listening a different perspective, it kind of like opens me up to like
because I was
what he was trying to get at.
I swear I was.
Yeah,
I was like, just wait, it's coming.
Because Kiki was in it, and then the man's from his first movie, Get Out, was in it, and I'm like, this is too good. But it had me thinking about because they family were basically the first. The family that filmed the first like movie with the guy riding the horse and stuff. And then I'm like thinking in the back of my mind, black people, like not even black people, but people for a long time, like in most of like those desert towns and shit, said that they've seen UFOs before.
Right.
And that UFO literally was like mimicking the sky. Like them motherfuckers, it looked like the sky. And then you fucking move around that motherfucker and it swoop you up in some type of mouth
like
or
vortex type,
and you hear the other people like screaming and like, what the fuck? That movie, not gonna lie, tripped me out, and it made me low key scared to go in the desert again because I'm like, my mom is already because it's like a long stretch of desert if you try to drive from California to Las Vegas because Las Vegas is in a desert anyway.
Because that's in Nevada, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So majority of the drive is you in the desert. So my mom was talking about how a lot of people do those dirt bike riding and stuff like that.
The little four-wheeler thing. Yeah.
She was like,
doom buggies.
She was like, she heard about a lot of people being decapitated doing that. And I'm like, how? If you're in open desert and it's rarely
anything
what's decapitating these people? Like whole head, like gone, like
that's crazy.
That's crazy. Like in the desert, my mom, like it's a lot of stuff that my mom used to tell me growing up, and I'd be like, "What is this lady always talking about?" But it was a talk that I had with my friend literally last night, and she was just like, "We're just like archives in a sense, like of tradition or like stories or knowledge that our parents pass on, and we continue it, and we're just the stuff that our parents know." It's not our job, but it could be to add on to that or to look into that and see if if it's fact or not.
What
or,
it means.
Yeah, or what it means and everything, because they probably didn't have the resources. 9 times out of 10, they didn't have the resources to go look this stuff up or to verify if it was true or not. But it's just like some of the stuff that my mom used to tell me growing up is now starting to come out now, especially with the whole Hollywood thing with people, because she called herself back in her prime trying to break into the industry of, she was an extra, she was modeling and all that stuff. And she was just like, all of these parties and stuff with these underage girls and everything is not nothing new under the sun. They've been doing that for a plethora of years.
That's
and
the
she was
same
just
thing,
like,
yeah.
and that was when I was in 20 something. So I can only imagine what they were doing way back when.
Right.
We hear stories right now. I don't know if you heard the story about Shirley Temple. They was doing that crazy shit way back when Shirley Temple was around. Had that little, like, it's right in our face. This little ass girl emulating a grown ass woman sitting on grown men laps that she do not know these people.
Right.
Like, regardless of it being media or not, you couldn't have casted a grown ass woman to do this role.
Right. It's a lot of things, like even in some of our like Nickelodeon and stuff.
Yeah.
You see a lot. Like, you ever just rewatch shows? Like, it don't even gotta be on Nick, but
Yeah.
even some of these newer cartoons, and I just be like, what are you trying to say?
This was not meant for a kid. Like, I was watching, it was some crazy shit. Some mom was basically sharing her story when you talk about those children's shows.
Yeah.
She was sharing a story about how it's this show, and it's like a Spanish show. It's called Jolly Roger. Okay. And her son was like watching it. And she was like, she watched one episode with him at first just to make sure it was child appropriate. She said it was. It wasn't like crazy in it. And then she was just like, after she let her son stay there, he was like glued to the TV. She would call him. He didn't really like respond or anything like that. She was like, he ended up getting up and basically like going into the room. It was time for bed. She turned off the movie. It was like, she turned off the show. By the time she turned it off, she was like, it was like 6 episodes in. She was like, dang, like he watched all of, like, she don't remember him watching all of these shows. So he was getting ready for bed. And she said that her son basically pulled his tooth out. And the mama was just like, why did you do that? What made you pull your tooth out? He was like, Jolly Roger told me to do it. And the mama was just like, what are you talking about? And then she said her son came at her with a razor blade, and he was just like, it's like some type of spell or something, and I need your blood too. And she was just like, what? So she was trying to get the razor blade, like, don't, like, calm down. She said her son cut her. Yes. She said then she went back and watched all the shows, all the episodes that she didn't sit and watch with him. She was like, nothing. And she said she watched them 2 times over. Nothing in those episodes ever indicated anything about him pulling his teeth out or anything like that. But she was like,
where did that come from?
I think that he might have been stuck in a trance or something watching that show or watching that program, because they call it a television program for a reason. So it's just like things that adult minds pick up and don't see. Kids don't have the same imagination
okay,
because their brains are still formulating. So anything that boy could have did in that video, Jolly Roger or anything like that, she was like, she was watching it, and the main character, Jolly Roger, has this big ass like Chester the cat smile on his face. And she was like, it was eerie to her at first, but when she kept watching, she literally could not stop smiling. And the lady was like, she was just watching and was smiling like aimlessly, and she could not tell why. She said she felt like it was like hands like pulling her mouth to smile. I was like, oh fuck no. Some of them things be having spirits in them.
Bro.
And that's what be making me think about children's shows today, because it's just like back then, I don't feel like it was as prominent because we probably were experimenting at a cusp to see where it was getting at. Yeah, it definitely was. And then it's just like now they're not hiding it, because it's just like, why? If they already know that we're programming them, why hide it at this point?
Then on top of that still ties back into...
And make it only so the kids can understand what we're saying.
That, and put... This is why you guys spend time with your kids.
Kids, yeah.
But it's
because if you was walking around cleaning and he was just watching a TV show, you could have bonded with your son by making a cleaning game or something like that.
Hey babe, let's go outside.
Yeah.
But that's it's so much, and that's why like everything is so interconnected, and it's so crazy, because it's like, how we get back here?
Yeah.
How we get back here? Because it's all connected. Like literally. That is scary. I'm sorry, but that scared me.
That's scary because I have little brothers, and my little brother, for the life of me, I don't know what why he wants to scroll on YouTube. I'm like, and he's 5. I'm like, sire, there's nothing on YouTube for you really to look at. Like, even though they have children's channels and things like that,
I don't trust that either.
children can't type up certain things to get to these children channels, right? So it's like some grown adult somewhere is watching somebody's child day in and day out, because you're uploading your child and sharing your child's life experiences, which is cool, but in the climate that we have and what we know about the world today, that can be very much dangerous.
Oh, yes.
Because now they're taking people's likelihood and everything, and then there's a lot of parents warning other parents about sharing their children on social media in the first place.
People are watching you.
Because now they got those little AI tools and stuff. They could take your child's photo and make derogatory content with it.
I've seen that
which
as
is
well.
very fucking dangerous, because anybody, anywhere.
They said anybody could get it. And have you seen the robots? The Tesla robots. Why are y'all like, baby?
Why is the robot, first of all, what robot needs sign language anyway? Why do they need to communicate silently?
They are trying to replace us.
Not everyday normal humans don't even know ASL. So I wouldn't even know what a robot was saying to another robot if they was signing and I was standing right there. I would have been like, oh, well, what the fuck they over there planning?
Plotting, bro.
They could be plotting our mass demise. Did we not
like
see
our robot?
Like, I tell anybody that'll listen, I do not trust Elon Musk as far as I could throw him. I know in my heart that he has a big ass self.
You saw what's the name? The underground train that he got?
Oh no!
You
so for the
haven't.
tunnels.
Yes.
So he using that for the tunnels.
Yes.
Because they said if you don't know where you going, you'll get lost in them tunnels forever.
Girl.
And I believe it. Because I feel like if we have stuff and everything up here, this is not the end. It's something under. They said they had them in schools and everything. And some girl came out and was just like, no, they not lying. Like, my school definitely had tunnels under it. And if you didn't know what you were doing, you would definitely get lost. Like, they said it was in their school's basement. Wow. And I was like, I personally never ventured in my school's basement on no exploratory stuff. So I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
But I wouldn't put it past them. I would not.
Why would you? But that's the thing.
If they had the Underground Railroad.
Bruh.
And I know they have underground tunnels. And maybe the underground tunnels was built for us.
Why wouldn't they have it?
Maybe the slaves built them so they could get around and could escape. Maybe we did. Because I don't know. Maybe it's something about me. It just.
Something telling you.
Something telling me that it could have started off good and then somebody took it and corrupted it. Because I know we was escaping some way, somehow. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I know if people around here got underground bunkers, I know for a fact.
This is so left field, but are your parents from California?
Both of my parents are from California. My mom's mom is from Oklahoma, though. She was born and raised in Tulsa, so she's seen the Black Wall Street massacre, and she was like, that started out like as a riot. Like, they started out like killing, like they did a whole bunch of shit. They did a whole bunch, and that's what made her family move to California, because they were over the whole everything that was going on in Tulsa and everything like that. And at the point, my great grandmother was already sick, and she was somebody that was a part of the whole syphilis experiment that they did with Black people.
See, the doctor. See, look.
Yeah.
See.
It's because my great grandfather never had it, so it's not like he was out cheating or being. And she wasn't out here doing nothing crazy either. But they feel like she was a part of the syphilis project where they was injecting a lot of Black people. And the thing is, a lot of people nowadays don't even know that syphilis is very much curable. All you need to go do is like you get you a shot after like before it gets that bad to where it's like brain eating and everything like
detrimental.
that. Yeah, you could get you a shot and get it cleared up. But because our people didn't know the resources, they were literally just killing us off. We go get a shot of penicillin and you'll be fine after a few weeks. But because you don't know that, you're thinking, oh, okay, the rash went away and everything, so I should be good. And then it could lie dormant.
It could be dormant,
For years, it could lie dormant.
Yeah,
and who knows? They could have injected my great-grandmother when she went to the hospital to have her kids. Who fucking knows? But all I know is this shit is not made up. This has really happened to people. Like, my grandmother being a little kid, remembering, like, yeah. And I at the time, I was low-key like, Me being older now and knowing Black history as deep as I do know, I wish I would have had more of those conversations with my grandmother before she
Right.
passed, because I'm like, that's how we get the true history, by talking to our
People,
elders.
yes, people who are actually there to
There.
witness that. And you know what? I I just got done talking about this, but even with our school system and everything, it was so much regurgitated one-sided stories that
Yeah.
I was very uninterested.
Right.
But I too hope to expand on that part of myself.
Right.
Because I don't want to be just, well, it happened.
Yeah.
What happened? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And why? What was the chain reactions? Like, for example, when I think I was a few years, it was a few years ago that I learned we would not have free lunch if it wasn't for the Black Panthers literally going around and giving Black kids lunches and everything
wow.
like that at schools. Yes, once the CIA killed the Black Panther leader, what was his name? It was not Farrakhan. That's somebody else. I can't not remember his name for the fucking
right
life
now.
of me. But y'all know who I'm talking about. I cannot remember his name of the life of me. But when they killed that man, and then took everything that the Black Panthers was doing,
Yeah.
literally stole their whole flow verbatim. They said, okay, so this is what they was doing. This is how they was making a change. They was going into their communities. They was helping the kids and everything like that. That's how they that's how they started most of their recruitment as the little, but it's more so like how gangs and everybody do it nowadays. They start them off young. That's where your formative years go. So you could be more loyal and everything like that. Not saying that the Black Panther Party was a gang, but they were doing it the right way. Like, let's bring us all together so we could keep us together. Because we don't really need to be a part of the white society to flourish or to thrive. We can have all of our own shit. We can have our own compound.
Yeah.
Why is it okay for white people to go buy all this land, have all of their family live on a compound and everything like that? But if Black people do it, oh, we trying to start a gang, or we
Or
trying
cult.
to, like,
Yeah. It's a lot. It's
What?
Look, y'all probably like, she done said that. It is a
What?
lot. It's mind-boggling.
yeah.
And even just like how you just said, it's not a gang. If a white person was to use the term, oh, we're all in a gang, they just mean we're in a group.
Yeah.
That's all they mean. But if we say it's more so like, oh, we gang bang,
Right.
we doing this, we doing that.
And our gang started out really helping our communities. Like,
Because I feel like it's just the terminology used. Like, obviously, we know that lingo changes throughout the years.
Because it's just like a lot of Crips don't even know that Crips is an acronym, babe. Community Restoration in Progress.
Go ahead.
Bloods mean we die all together in blood. So when some of these, the actual purpose of them changed throughout the years too, though,
Right.
too, because societies evolve and things happen. When Bloods and Crips were first formulated, they were trying to probably do a sectioned off version of what the Black Panthers was doing, for their own specific communities, which is fine. But somewhere along the way, we lost our way because we should not be taking no. And other black men know, inherently they know that that shit is wrong. Taking a young Black man, and mind you, that young Black man could be looking for family in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Because you need, I don't know the experience of being a Black man in America, but seeing and hearing, for example, with that young mom, I don't know if you heard the story about the young mom up in, I think it was Minnesota. I don't want to get it wrong. Don't quote me on it. But it was a young mom somewhere, and the police came in while her husband or her boyfriend was beating on her. And she was literally screaming to the police, go get my son, save my son, save my son. And that man literally stopped whooping her ass, went into the room. The police watched him, went into the room and held that baby up to knife point or something. They said they shot through that woman's child to get to that man. And she was telling them that whole time, save my son. And then they fast forward. Well, they rewind back to when she was pregnant with her son. She said she was pregnant, and it was a police officer who asked her, like, oh, what are you having? And she was like, a boy. And he told her flat out, I cannot wait to arrest your son. Straight like that. And she knew from the moment that she had to get out of there. Like, she had to get out of there to protect her son. And and she said her family was saying that she was having premonitions for so long, like, they are going to kill my son. They're going to kill my son. And it happened. And then turned around, she was also the cousin of some man that ended up dying in his home or something like that. She was also the cousin of that black woman that was shot in her home by that white police officer
not Brianna.
No, not Brianna, the woman that had that pot.
That's even crazy.
And that's too many that Brianna Taylor was shot in her home. That woman that had that pot. And he was just like, she was trying to throw that hot water at me. And he loaded her up with bullets. And she was just like, and at first when he walked in there, she had told him that she rebuked him. And she kept saying that shit. And he was basically being aggressive with her. And the story ended with her dead in her home. And she was that woman's cousin. The woman whose son was killed in her home, she was cousins to that lady. So I'm like, these police officers this is not coincidental. They are literally showing us that they will kill us and they don't give a fuck.
And they're going to get away with it.
And they're going to continue to get away with it.
That's crazy.
The only one so far that I've seen get convicted and actually serve jail time is that white officer that did that shit to George Floyd. And right now, I don't even know if that man's still alive or not. Who knows? And a lot of things, it'd be like, because it's like with the whole media thing. The media said that he went to jail. How do we know that he did really go to jail indeed? If we also know that they got these underground tunnels and all of this shit. The same thing with the whole like Diddy thing. Like how we know that he really about to go sit in prison and everything like that.
And they're not finna go take him to an island or something. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. And even then, isn't he more of a danger in prison with other people?
Look. Yeah.
I don't agree with harming humans.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to exercise that demon. Bruh, okay?
Isolate or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
I don't.
It's like, even if the execution route, like,
is that right too, to take another life?
I'm about to say, because now aren't you the same thing that you killing, right? I mean, essentially, right?
Essentially you're becoming the monster.
So I don't know.
Because I'm like, I know only God could hand down the final and punishment, to be honest. Because I'm like, regardless, these are just shells of our souls. Your soul is going to have to continue to live.
On.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know that man. And I don't want to know
like
that man.
Keke Palmer.
Yeah, that man could be walking down the street and I wouldn't know him. Sorry to that man. No, for real. Because I don't want to know him.
Yeah.
But it's also like, did you not feel any remorse when you were doing it? And that's another thing that me and my friends were talking about, how people allow themselves to be vessels of evil, to cause harm to God's children, for real. Because it's just like, you are also God's child. I don't know what happened to you in your journey or anything like that could have caused you to steer away from God or anything because that's not of God.
My battery had died. I honestly cannot tell y'all how much I appreciate this girl for coming out here and spending this time with me and telling y'all about what she know about programming, because honestly it was a great time.
I thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Honestly, like, I am so excited to see the final product.
Look.
No, for real. And have a watch party. I do watch parties with all my my friends.
Really?
Anytime I'm a part of something, I'm like, no, yeah, we all getting together. Y'all gonna hear my ass talk.
Oh, that is
I'm a Leo
great.
at heart. Like, I am such a Leo. Like, come on, y'all. Let's gather around to watch me. And then y'all let me know what y'all think.
I'm here.
Yeah.
No, but okay. Okay. Before we leave, is there anything else that you wanted to say or finish off? Any thoughts?
I would just say, ask why.
Yes.
Like, never be content until you ask why. A few times, at least 3 times over. And then just maybe you can find some contentment in that. Because then you're going to really get to the nitty gritty. Just ask why.
Ask why and go see for yourself.
That. And be unapologetically yourself. Don't apologize for being you. Just be you. And the people that's supposed to mess with it is going to mess with it. Period.
She said what she said. So, I'm Taisha.
And I'm Nia.
And we promise we won't bite our tongue. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.